Just a beautiful Friday night sunset on the University of Oklahoma campus in Norman, Oklahoma. We are indoors and under the bright lights of McCaslin Fieldhouse, where tonight the Oklahoma Sooners, who are coming off a top 25 road win at Missouri and are sitting 3-1 in SEC play, are hosting the South Carolina Gamecocks. The Gamecocks with a first-year coaching staff and hungry for their first win in league play in 2025. Alongside David Giardino, I'm Chad McKee. Oklahoma has Alexis Shelton, first-team All-SEC a season ago, and already approaching 200 kills this year. She can really take over a match, can't she?
Yeah, Shelton was named to that ABCA National Player of the Year watch list in the preseason, and last time out against Missouri was just everywhere. 25 kills on a monster .564 hitting percentage. She is one of the best in the country as an outside hitter.
A lot of new and a lot of good for South Carolina. Nia Hall's a Cleveland State transfer. Why has she been such a good immediate fit?
Well, when you get the amount of new players that the South Carolina did in the offseason, you're kind of looking for that workhorse outside, and Nia Hall has taken on that role, has a lot of shots in her bag, can go cross, can go down the line, struggles with the errors a couple of times, but All Horizon League at Cleveland State clearly has a lot of talent.
Welcome upstairs alongside David Giardino. I'm Chad McKee. These two teams are not identical, but they are similar in that they each employ a 6-2 system with two setters on the floor. If you're going to do that, what has to go well?
Well, your outsides have to pass. I mean, this match will be won and lost from behind the service line. The great thing about running a 6-2, you have those three hitters in the front row at all times, gives your setters a lot of options, but if the passes are bad, can't get your setter onto the net, they can't utilize those options, that's going to be what loses one of these teams this match.
So a first-year coaching staff and first-year head coach Sarah Rumley Noble for South Carolina. She said it was a really odd situation in that they outkilled Georgia on Sunday. Had more kills, but didn't win the match. Got to eliminate some of the errors, right?
You certainly do, but man, they had a tough schedule to start SEC play, multiple ranked teams, and took a set from Texas A&M early, a lot of momentum they can build on.
Took a set from Georgia the other day, as you said, but started with 3 top 25 teams out of the chute. There's Imani Bush. What a difference maker she's been. The Canadian transferring in from Washington, 4 good years there. Just such a steady, you know, she's almost so consistent. She's spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, was all Pac-12 and all Big Ten at Washington. She can play all 6 rotations and is just such a smart player.
And there she is once again. You know, they say that consistency is a skill. She has it in spades, doesn't she?
Well, and when you have such a dynamic outside that OU has, you need someone that can play 6 rotations well, pass the ball, block, do everything right, and that's what she does on the outside.
Avea Omega, one of the setters back there on the service line, make it 3 kills for Bush, lighting it up. She's on pace for 75 kills in this match.
Yeah, it's an overpass on that one, and a good job by Bush just cleaning it up. Like I mentioned in the open, the serve receive is going to be key here for the Gamecocks.
188 kills for Imani Bush so far. Now in system, the Gamecocks, and that swipe is wide. There was no touch. And so just out of bounds on the strike by Nia Hall. 4-0 Oklahoma.
Yeah, was trying to find hands down that line and just missed a little bit wide. Smart shot, but just didn't execute.
Avea Omega, the freshman from Hamilton, Ontario. There's the service error, which gets South Carolina a much-needed side out. They will rotate in Emily Beaker in the middle, who's been a real go-to player, transfer from Tennessee. And back to the service line is Ava Leahy. She transferred with Coach Sarah Rumley Noble from Appalachian State. Tough to handle there, and an ace as Frega could not handle it. A good start on the service line for the Gamecocks.
That's right. One not quite an ace from the Sooners, but one ace from the Gamecocks. 2 very good serves to start this one, and both of these teams very good from behind the line. It's going to be a key to their game plans.
Leahy was second-team All-Sun Belt at Appalachian State, had 365 kills there last year. First swing from the freshman Tacoa Barnes, and she strikes for the Sooners.
Tacoa Barnes struggled a little bit against Missouri, but a good swing early on here. Finds the top of the block and just has the power to get that one all the way across court now.
Real live arm. She hits cannonballs.
Yeah.
Big-time recruit. Aaron Mansfield and his staff so pleased to get her. Bush, good solid serve. That one overpass right back to Kelly Jo Burgess, and bam, she goes down the middle. She is on pace to set Oklahoma's all-time attack percentage record with tries like that.
I mean, is the leader in the SEC right now, and just a great job getting her going early in this one. When you get your middles going early, it opens up the outsides, and they have to send blockers at the middle.
Bush with the service error, so a couple of those for the Sooners. We saw Aaron Mansfield, the third-year Sooner head coach, got them to the NCAA tournament last year and a win in the opening round. Oklahoma's first win in the tournament since 2013, and they are back and loaded once again. Aaron Mansfield, he called that win at Missouri pretty insane in that his team set program records for kills and attack percentage. And they're off to a great start again tonight with Alexis Shelton's first.
Yeah, they hit 400 in that match at Missouri, and Coach said in our call earlier this week that they weren't going to do that again today, but so far so good for this Oklahoma offense. No,
they're not. They're going to hit 1,000 tonight, apparently. There's the third Oklahoma service error. So 3 of the 4 points for the Gamecocks have come from Oklahoma's serves. But Aaron Mansfield just so pleased with the way that his team has played. He said their floor defense has gotten a lot better. Credit the way that they have defended with those outsides in serve receive. Shelton and Bush have been so good. And as I say that, Bush can't handle that serve.
But it is a plus for your team when your outsides not only serve receive well, but they do play good floor defense. Not only, obviously, you're getting the ball in system more, but it gives you that back row attack option, which both outsides for Oklahoma athletic enough to be able to make those.
In system, and Patterson has her first kill of the night. Kennedy Patterson, a Pepperdine transfer, spent a couple of years there. Missed a pair of matches earlier this year, injured her shoulder against St. Mary's, but she has been really good coming in there when Burgess is not.
Yeah, just a solid presence. The senior at the net, you know, blocks well, able to kill balls that are good sets, and does one there.
Here's the big topspin jump serve from the freshman Barnes, and she rips it. Harris does well to get a piece of it, and the Gamecocks will get it back across. Shelton off the hands, and down it goes. 2 kills for the All-American.
Yeah, real smart shot from Shelton there. Had a double block, but just kind of rolled it over towards the back line and able to get it down.
You talk about Shelton as well. She makes everybody better because of all of the attention that she draws.
Yeah, gets the double block on the outside. It leaves the middles. It leaves Bush one-on-one on the other side sometimes. It just drawing that attention, it opens up the rest of your offense.
That was a big-time serve received by Harris. And Sarah Rumley-Noble said, we know we can be in every match when she is in a Gamecocks libero jersey.
Oh, what did she say? Dig, baby, dig? That's what she likes to say in the back there, and she is one of the best in the SEC at digging balls.
Harris was on the SEC all-freshman team last year. She's back on the service line now. Sooners in system for Shelton. Drops that one cross court and made it look easy.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you get the middles involved early. They jump with the middle there. A smart set back to Shelton and puts it in the perfect spot to go cross court.
3 kills for Shelton to lead everybody, and she's back on the service line now. Serve received by Victoria Hill. Good cross-court swipe by Elise Marshall. She is also a transfer from Appalachian State. She was the Sun Belt Freshman of the Year last year with 245 kills.
Yeah, it's nice when you get to follow your coach from a smaller conference, gets to play in the SEC now, and has had a really great start to conference play. One of the better hitters on this South Carolina team.
Sarah Rumley-Noble brought assistant coaches Connor Zimick and Chantel Hargraves, along with 4 players from Appalachian State, as she brought Leahy and Marshall, who we've seen, and then Claire Payne and Victoria Hill were committed to App State and decided to come with the coach to South Carolina. There's Patterson.
Patterson had a great start to this one, but back to your point about Coach Noble, a lot of recruiting is who you're going to play for, and they get a job at a big school like South Carolina. It's nice to be able to get that talent to follow you.
Gamecocks just have to touch this one across. Really tight set. The Sooners a little out of sorts there from the get-go, and a side out right back to South Carolina.
Yeah, the timing just a little wrong on that one. Hall just gets the ball up a little bit too high on the outside. Was trying to go middle misdirection to the outside and a little too high.
11-8 Oklahoma, and back to do the serving will be Elena Johnson, that calming, confident 6-rotation outside player for the Gamecocks. Targets Fraga. There's Shelton popping that one to the back for Johnson, and Gamecocks didn't realize that ball was coming up there, and Pixler was not ready to take it in that time.
No, just a little miscommunication there. Kind of in no man's land, and Sooners will take that point.
So here's Camille Gibson, Tennessee transfer, didn't play there 2 years ago, transferred and was a Sooner last year. She can get it going from the service line. Had 5 aces against Central Arkansas. Good solid serve to Harris. Outside target, and Hall comes through, gets the Gamecocks to serve right back.
Yeah, real strong swing from Hall there. The middle, little late closing on that block and able to just fit it through. As Burgess just a little bit late closing on the outside there.
Sarah Rumley-Noble said Hall is their most attacking player, a gamer, and lets it rip. She likes that about her. Set by Mega this time and dumped down. They get it to Kelly Jo Burgess, and she is 2 for 2 in the middle so far.
A perfect hitting percentage to continue on to her SEC leading hitting percentage, but that was a good job. You went with Bush on the block, so you go middle, and Burgess able to send it down.
So here's Bush back on the service line for the Sooners. And system set by Pixler this time. Sooners get a piece of that one. Right back it comes. Barnes cross court. It's wide. And there was not a touch, so it's out of bounds. Back to the Gamecocks.
Yeah, right idea from Barnes there. Does a good job getting the ball up again off of the block touch, but just cut it a little bit too much. That is a tough shot to try to take, but just missed it a little bit.
Sarah Jordan, one of the 2 setters, back to serve it now. She's a transfer from Towson, spent 2 seasons there. Leads this team with 260 assists. Right back to Burgess, and a good block by Beaker in the middle. Middle on middle. Shelton goes to the back, and Johnson's there. This is Marshall. Look at Shelton. Rare back and let it rip, but it was long, and we've got a 2-point set now.
A tough swing from Shelton there. Just on the second ball. A lot of players you'd want to just, get that one back up. I think you're okay with Shelton taking that swing if you're the Sooners, though.
She's made that work many times. Jordan, the service error and the side out. Back to Oklahoma at 14-11.
Yeah, already the 4th service error of this set. The first for the Gamecocks, 3 on the Sooners side, but a lot of teams want to put good service pressure, but the flip side of that coin is you get a lot of errors as well.
What's an acceptable ratio, do you think? Errors to aces.
2 to 1, maybe?
You take that, I think.
I'd take it.
Patterson gets blocked by Beaker. Barnes is blocked by Beaker, and the 6'5" middle proving to be a force for South Carolina.
I mean, Beaks, as they call her, transfer from Tennessee, has some SEC experience and is the best blocker on the South Carolina team. She is just a wall up there, leads them in total blocks, over a block per set, and a great job getting 2 on that point.
She's in graduate school. She came in January, so she was already at South Carolina when Sarah Rumley-Noble and the staff took over. Here's Shelton, blocked. Beaker making a difference with Elise Marshall up front.
Yeah, a lot of times, you get out of system, you know where that ball is going, and the double block gets there in time, and Beaker almost cheating over towards Shelton, reads it perfectly, and sends it down.
But there's the error, the second against South Carolina.
Yeah, the 5th overall.
Sooners lead at 15-13 in the opening set. Just getting things started at McCaslin Fieldhouse on SEC Network. Well, this is the beginning of a little 2-game road trip for the Gamecocks. They'll be in Fayetteville to take on Arkansas on Sunday. Winless so far in conference play, but as you said earlier, they've taken sets from number 9 Texas A&M and Georgia the other day. But it was brutal. They started with 3 top 25 teams right out of the chute. Yeah,
I mean, it started even back in the non-conference, had to play against North Carolina, actually beat North Carolina in Columbia in 5, and then had to play at number 3 Kentucky, at number 22 Tennessee, and then at home in the whiteout game against A&M. So that is a really tough start to SEC play, but being able to take a set from Texas A&M for a team, trying to find their new way under a new coaching staff is a really, really big step.
Back row swing there by Victoria Hill. And the Gamecocks make it a 1-point set at 15-14. Right in this thing, and Harris goes back to the service line. She is from Columbia, South Carolina. Sarah Rumley-Noble said it means a lot for Victoria Harris to play for her hometown university. Taken in by Frege. Sooners in system. And Patterson drills her second kill.
Yeah, I bet you Coach Mansfield in that timeout said if we get an in-system ball out of this timeout, go right to the middle, get them going again. Already 4 kills for the middles in this one for the Sooners.
Patterson was here in the spring, and Aaron Mansfield and staff said that was very useful. Getting used to the physicality of playing in the SEC. It's not quite like that at Pepperdine, but she's become accustomed to it. The Sooners have their 4th service error there.
Especially at the middle position. I think more than anywhere else, the physicality really changes as you move up levels. But she's responded well early in SEC play. She's blocking well. Has a lot of experience just playing college volleyball, and that usually is enough.
Pixler with a good serve. Sooners keep it alive, and Camille Gibson comes through from the outside. That was almost flying off the rails, and somehow Gibson made it work.
Yeah, Gibson rolled that one off of 3 Gamecocks, I believe, before it got down. Just a nice, smart little shot. We see Gibson as a serving sub earlier in the set, able to get a swing from the right side there and terminate.
Aaron Mansfield said she's getting better with decision-making. Decisions like that one right there. This set has to come from Pixler, and down on the Sooner side, it worked out for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, Johnson there able to get the swing off of the top of the block. And we talked about it earlier. Johnson is the best all-around player on this South Carolina team. Leads them, in aces, is one of the better hitters as well. Just, the consistent force on this South Carolina team.
4th-year player, and she's been a part of it since she was a freshman. Bush tips it across, but right there's Pixler. A try here for Hall, cross court, and it's in. We're tied at 17 in set number 1.
Yeah, Hall has gotten going early in this one. That's already her 3rd kill, and that is a tough shot going cross court, able to get it above the libero's head and still in. A pretty shot from Hall there.
Johnson back to that service line, mishandled by Frega, and South Carolina has its first lead here in set number 1. They've won 3 straight points.
Yeah, it's Johnson's 18th ace of the year, and OU going to force to take a timeout.
So Oklahoma trying to stop this run for the Gamecocks. They've won 4 of the last 5 points. At the mid-set timeout, Oklahoma led it 15-13. So 5 of 7 points, and the Gamecocks have Aaron Mansfield and his staff looking for some answers here.
Yeah, but from the South Carolina side, you get your best server behind the line. This is the type of late set run that you need to try to get ahead early on the road. We saw Oklahoma last week against Missouri drop those first 2 sets. In the first one, a 31-29, real heartbreaking loss, but it's how you battle back from those. And South Carolina's done a great job early in this one on their side, going down early, but staying with their game plan, getting Hall some touches, getting the middles involved. The serve receive has gotten better, and then putting pressure on the Sooners from the service line. And who better to do it than Johnson?
So we'll see the Oklahoma adjustments. Nothing major in South Carolina. Just keep your head down. Keep doing what you're doing. Sarah Rumley-Noble talking about them said, been encouraged by the way that first they've been able to terminate points against really good teams. That is evidenced by actually out-killing Georgia the other day, even though they lost. But then with their service, getting other teams a little bit out of sorts, being able to target players with service and keeping other teams off balance. There's been a little bit of that here.
Yeah, Coach Noble said that she's okay with errors to a certain extent if we're serving them well otherwise. I mean, it is a give and take. You want to serve, you don't want to give easy serves so that teams can get in a system. Obviously, you want to limit errors as they come. But I think that they struck a nice balance early in this one. 2 service errors, but the service pressure has been great from South Carolina so far.
Crowd trying to get behind their Sooners here at McCaslin Fieldhouse. It's Oklahoma-Texas football tomorrow. So there may be a few vacancies in Norman, Oklahoma tonight. A lot of hit the road down I-35. Hall blocked. Bush was in the middle of that with Burgess. There you see all the things that Bush can do.
Yeah, can play inside, can play out there. I mean, just reads this one perfectly. It was a triple block that time being thrown at Hall, obviously respecting the arm on the other side for South Carolina, but able to come over and get the block as the triple blocker. You don't usually see that this one early, but point of emphasis coming out of that timeout.
Villamiga hits Harris with that serve. Here's Hall swinging away and just dunked down by Burgess. Oklahoma retakes the lead.
It's one of the strengths of this Oklahoma team. They're a very, very good blocking team. And early in this one, that'll already be 3.5 blocks for the Sooners. South Carolina, 2 of their own, but making their impact felt at the net.
2 blocks for Burgess. 69 already this year. She had 82 all of last year, so on a much higher pace. Hall to the back for Shelton. And now a swing for Barnes. To the back row, Johnson got it. Cross court, Ebo got blocked. Bush beautifully tipped. Had those eyes ready and found a home on the back row with it.
Yeah, Bush just realized that ball was going to sneak over the net and just tips it right where there is nobody for South Carolina. And a great response from the Sooners coming out of that timeout.
So 3 straight points for the Sooners after they took the timeout, and now Oklahoma has gained a 20-18 lead. Imani Bush and Erin Mansfield just so pleased to have her. It's not just her consistency on the court, but she's been such a home run culture-wise for this program as well. Her voice carries a lot of weight with her teammates when she speaks. They all listen. She wants to be a pro, wants to play for the Canadian national team, and she has certainly proven she's going to be able to do both.
Yeah, getting a veteran presence into the locker room, especially when you have young players at key positions, has been big for this Sooner team.
We talked about the Missouri reverse sweep and the top 25 win that Oklahoma had. Pretty insane. Erin Mansfield said he's never had a team hit 400 as a group for a match. But you mentioned, the first set could have gone other way. Went extra points, 31-29. They were in that one, lost the second one, and then roared from behind.
I mean, that is just not typical on the road in conference play to lose a heartbreaker of a first set, come out not play great in the second set, you lose that 25-21, but then come out in the third, win that 25-20, you got some momentum going, 25-21 in the fourth set, and then dominate the fifth set, winning that by 6 points. I mean, you see it on the screen right now, 6 errors down to 2.3. You see that's the clear adjustment there, you could say. But even just having the wherewithal as a team, the mental fortitude to go on the road and reverse sweep is one of the hardest things to do in volleyball.
72 assists, tied a program record. 76 kills, a new program record at Oklahoma. And a win on the road. Top 25 victory back on Sunday. So out of the timeout, Gamecocks trying to get the side out, which they're able to do. They come and target Kaya Pixler over here on the near side.
Yeah, able to get in system right away, right out of the timeout. A good pass and have all your options open and a great swing.
Here's Leahy and the error. Can't stand the prosperity. That is the third service error for South Carolina in the first set. And it's been immediately after a side out, so no points won.
Yeah. I mean, third service error to 3 service aces. You're pretty okay with that, I think, from the South Carolina side.
Bush returns the favor. So 21-20. Which team can seize control? Because this set is hanging in the balance.
Yeah, that was the 5th service error on the Sooner side. So no service aces. That is definitely a trend that needs to change from Oklahoma.
In to serve is Elizabeth McElveen, Rock Hill, South Carolina. She's got 10 aces for the year. Sooners go to Shelton. Harris punches it into the air, and I think it hit the camera over there.
Yeah, it hit the...
Yes, it did. You got to adjust the net cam. There we go.
You can see the antenna move sometimes. Not often you get one that lands right on top of the camera over there, but a great set and a great swing.
Oh.
Just hit it right on top.
I think Andy Martin is going to have to get director's credit for setting up the camera there, some engineering credit as well, or
luckily,
referee.
Nothing came loose.
22-20 Oklahoma. Hall to the back. Bush punches it back across, and Beaker swats it down.
It's a good swing from Hall, targeting Bush in the back row, just over digs it right to Beaker, and Beaker takes a chance on that one. Not one you typically see someone try to kill, but gets a good swing on it, gets it high enough up on Bush that there's no way she was going to be able to dig that one.
So in to serve now for South Carolina is Victoria Hill. And there's another error. These errors also coming in the closing minutes when the set is up for grabs, David.
Yeah, 3 points left in the first set. Really do not want errors. That's when you take a little bit off of your serve, force OU to pass the ball. They have not done a great job of it in this first set. You're not really trying to serve for aces when you're down, at the time too in this set.
sometimes it's not just the error, it's when the error happens back there on the service line. So timeout taken here by the Gamecocks. Try to slow Aaron Mansfield's team down just a little bit here.
Yeah, but both of these teams siding out at a very good rate so far in this first set. OU at a 71% clip, and South Carolina at a 65% clip. You usually want that number to be in the 60s, and so both of these teams doing a great job, you know, when the other team's on the service line, keeping service runs to 3 points at most. It's going to be a big one in this.
Who's going to take this right here? Just a little fine-tuning in both huddles each way. Oklahoma's huddles are typically very player-driven. Coaches step in, and they let the players have a voice over there. South Carolina, you've got a coaching staff that, yes, it's an all-new team, but the coaching staff very familiar with one another. As we said, Sarah Rumley-Noble brought Connor Zimick and Chantel Hargraves in from Appalachian State to come with her, and 4 players who at least had a little bit of familiarity with the system, and that certainly has helped what they've been able to put in place.
Yeah, continuity is key in college athletics, and especially nowadays in college athletics, and being able to come in with the new staff, bring in some other players, bring in some more SEC experience as well. I mean, they're building something good here at South Carolina. You could see it in their early matches, and this is a test for this team. First set on the road. You know, you fought your way back. You've done your job to get back into the set. Now do you limit the errors? You limit the service errors. You limit the hitting errors, and try to make Oklahoma beat you. You can't beat yourself in this situation.
But the Sooners are trying to close here. 2-point lead. They've got the jump top spin serve of Takoa Barnes back there. She produced an ace in the early stages of this first set. Skims the tape. Harris able to dig it, though. Beaker, and I thought that hit the antenna. It did not point South Carolina. Sooners were in the net, and 23-22. Side out now to the Gamecocks. They have control on the serve of Harris.
That's the first time we've seen them go to the slide in this one, and it was Beaker on the outside. Puts a good swing on it, and
Shelton just clipped it.
Yep.
So here's Harris. Dug out nicely by Frege. Shelton has to tip it over. Set comes for Johnson, blocked. Patterson and Shelton there. Johnson, Sooners get a tip, but it's down, and we're tied.
That's a smart shot on the South Carolina side there from Johnson. Saw that the block was set up, but that far side was not covered, so you're going to go find the hands of the triple block, and that's the bad part about the triple block is if the ball does get through, gets tipped, there's nobody covering that opposite side, and so a really smart shot from Johnson there, knowing that triple block was coming.
So this timeout taken by Oklahoma. Serve to South Carolina at 23 apiece here in this opening set. Good action. I think as expected, you would think. And South Carolina's been in a lot of matches with very good teams, and Oklahoma certainly in that category. You look at the overall conference standings in the SEC, and coming into the night, 5 teams in the top 25. Missouri still hanging in there after Oklahoma beat them the other day. And here's what the Sooners have done: 3-1, 5-set loss to Ole Miss. Certainly no shame there, but big wins over LSU and 2 road wins. Those go a long way when you talk about where you're going to finish in league play.
It certainly is, and it was a good start. That Ole Miss match we talked about in our coaches call earlier, it was service errors in that one too that doomed the Sooners, but you know, they've taken care of the teams that they should take care of in Vanderbilt and LSU, and then going to Missouri and getting that win early in the year, especially the way it happened. We've mentioned it a couple of times, but that's just a real confidence builder for your group. You have some younger players and some positions you don't typically like to see younger players, but man, have they stepped up to the task.
And it's all important. Of course, you're talking about building RPI points, NCAA tournament bids, and the SEC Championship, which is coming back this year for the first time since 2005. It'll be November 21st through 25th in Savannah, Georgia. All 16 teams will be there, but the top 8 will get an opening round bye, and the top 4 will get a double bye based upon where you finished in the regular season.
It's exciting. Conference tournaments are good for college sports.
Harris with another serve, targeting Bush. And drilled by Camille Gibson to give the Sooners a set point.
Yeah, Harper Hall, the sophomore setter that played at UC Santa Barbara last year, put that one in the perfect spot. Got it up high enough so that Gibson could take a really strong swing down on it, and the Sooners have set point.
UC Santa Barbara, the alma mater of Oklahoma head coach Aaron Mansfield. So in to serve on set point, Piper Justice. And played across by Harris. Justice able to scrape it up for the Sooners. Gibson reaches back, and there to claim it is McElveen. Johnson blocked, and Oklahoma wins it. Patterson and Bush up there to finish it off. A close opening set goes to Oklahoma, 25-23.
Yeah, Patterson, first block of the match to go along with 3 kills, hitting 750 in that first set. The middle's making a huge impact for Oklahoma.
Gamecocks were game, but the Sooners able to close it out. They win the opening set, 25-23 at McCaslin Fieldhouse. A lot of fun. Come back for set number 2 on SEC Network. Shelton show goes on for the Oklahoma Sooners and their All-American outside hitter Alexis Shelton leading all players in the opening set with 5 kills.
Yeah, I mean, mentioned in the open, worked her way into the top 10 list for all-time kills here at Oklahoma, and I mean, lived up to the task in that first half. Leads everybody with 10 attempts, has 5 kills, hitting 300, and not easy swings for the most part for her, but I mean, she makes everything look easy out there.
See, Oklahoma's 16 kills, 4.5 blocks, and hit 414. And somehow South Carolina was still in that thing right down to the finish.
Yeah, I mean, give a lot of credit to Emily Beaker on the other side for South Carolina. 3 kills on 4 attempts and 2 blocks in her own right. I mean, is the only one really hitting above 500 for this team, for South Carolina, that is. And, you know, they're going to have to keep her going if South Carolina's going to have another set like that first one.
5 more kills, as you said, for Alexis Shelton, 1,319 for her Oklahoma career. That is 9th best in Sooner history. She could relatively easily move up to at least 6th place by the time that her career is over with. And who knows, but what a player she has been.
And she hopes that maybe a couple of tournament games can add on to that.
There you go.
As well.
Gamecocks will get the opening serve. Elena Johnson back to do the honors from Kershaw, South Carolina. Oklahoma goes to Bush, and she taps it wide. Quick side out to South Carolina.
Yeah, a smart shot from Bush there. Saw that the ball was really tight to the net, and that Hall was jumping with her, just a single block, and just tools the outside of it and drops it down.
Another here for Johnson. And Frege lets it go long. So the error. And errors now 5 for the Gamecocks. They had 3 aces in that opening set.
Yeah, South Carolina's been targeting Frege a little bit in serve receive early in this one. Smart job just to get out of the way there, let that one drift long.
So here's Imani Bush. Serves it to Harris in system. And Bush is able to dig it out. Frege this time with the set. To Cole Barnes to the back. And long it was. There was no touch. 2-1 Gamecocks.
Yeah, it's a good job, South Carolina, able to get the ball in system, get a swing for their middle. It forces Bush to have to be the one to dig it up, and then a tough bump set that has to, you know, kind of sky up, and a tough swing on the other side.
This is Ava Leahy back on the service line. Frege able to take it in, and Shelton gets a big rip cross court to tie it at 2.
Man, that is a tough swing from Shelton there to able to go cross court, that little cut shot. I mean, just a beautiful swing, but the best outsides in the country are the ones that have that one in their arsenal, and just puts it in a place that nobody's going to be able to dig that one up.
Kelly Jo Burgess with the serve to Harris. Hall, and that goes off of Bush. Great job to chase it down initially by Mega, and let's hope everybody's okay. Shelton goes piling into the bench. Teammates laughing with delight because everybody's all right.
Yeah. It usually only happens when everybody's all right, but a good hustle from the Sooners, but a really smart shot from Hall, knowing that, you know, you have an outside, a tall outside in the back row. Just get that ball up on her. Makes it really tough to dig.
Shelton off the block. It goes out of bounds. Shelton's got 7 kills already.
Yeah, the best outsides in the country are also able to go off speed. You know, when you get double blocked, just a really smart tool there. Not able to get high enough up enough on the block, and a good tool from Shelton there.
Been such a durable player through her career as well. Injury-wise, Barnes' serve hits the tape and goes down for an ace.
Man, that is tough on the receiving end when you're gearing up for that topspin serve, and then it just tickles the top of the net and drops right in.
Looking for the fastball, and you get the changeup.
Inadvertent changeup, that is.
Inadvertent, that's right. Officially the first ace, but Barnes had one in the first set that was not returned. And that one is long.
Well, there's the duality with the topspin serve there. You hit the net on the first one, you're saying, okay, let me put a little bit higher, and just goes a tad long.
You know, she didn't even have that in her arsenal until August.
No.
They just kind of tried it one day, and it's a weapon.
I mean, it takes a special player to be able to do it.
Hall the serve the other way. Shelton with the set for Gibson, who rolls it across. In system, and a block by Gibson as she stepped right there in front of Marshall.
I mean, what a job by Gibson to be able to read the swing of Marshall. It was kind of drifting out on the block, and makes her really athletic to play, to come back and, you know, lean her arms back and still angle the ball down. Just what an athletic play on that outside.
It's getting better and better.
Yeah.
Aaron Mansfield said she's cut down on errors and making better decisions. She had nearly 230 kills last year. Good swing there by the reliable Elena Johnson to get the side out and tie it at 5.
Yeah, I'd like to see Johnson get more swings here for the South Carolina team. Is second on the team with 5 versus Hall's 9, but now has joined Beaker and Hall with 3 kills in the lead, up to hitting 400 on the day, and just a great shot there off the top of the block.
Here's Victoria Harris to serve it for South Carolina. Dropping that in. Frege comes up with it. Bush is blocked. Big block in the middle by Leahy.
Yeah, but it starts with the service pressure. A beautiful drop serve. It was handled well by Frege, but I mean, you get into a predictable place, and the middles for South Carolina are really playing well so far. It's good to see that net cam's okay too.
Yeah, everybody's all right. Bush rips this one to the back. There was no touch, and the Gamecocks have a 7-5 lead in set 2.
Yeah, all Bush could do there, try to find hands, and no dice, just misses it long. But that's not one where you're not aiming to get that ball in. You're aiming to get that one off the top of the block.
3 straight points for South Carolina. Harris, the error though.
And timely service errors. That was what doomed South Carolina in that first set. And you mentioned it's not always the number, but when you're on a 3-0 service run, you finally retaken the lead, not where you want to serve in the net.
Sydney Thompson, the senior from Tulsa Booker T. Washington High School, 11 aces for her. Harris did a good job to get that one. Hall is able to keep it alive for the Sooners, and Bush will play it over. This time Harris with the set for Johnson, and drills it right down the seam to the back line.
Yeah, saw that it was Shelton in the back line. The block was a little late getting up and didn't get quite high enough, and just nice shot in between the triple block. And Oklahoma's used the triple block quite a bit on this South Carolina team. A little predictable out of system, either going to Hall or to Johnson, and that time Johnson just a little bit better.
Gibson strikes again as she smashes down her 3rd kill of the night.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Gibson so far. As a couple of kills in this set, had a solo block, and that one just, I mean, a perfect swing, aiming for that back corner. Once again, knowing the outsides in the back row for South Carolina in this 6-2, perfectly placed.
Gibson hits that one low. That almost hit down on her wrist. She swung through it.
We call that an announcer's jinx when I'm saying how well she's playing and serves it into the net immediately.
It applies to even the best of them. And now back to the line goes Elena Johnson once again. Oklahoma in system. Burgess touches it across, and it goes wide. Ebo was able to get a touch on the backside, but that's just alert cross-court action there by Burgess.
Yeah, not the typical swing you're seeing out of Burgess. The set really not where she wants it. Just kind of has to almost sidearm it across the court, and that's when you're just hoping to get somewhere in play and get South Carolina out of system, but it ends in a kill.
Bush targets Harris, who does a good job to take it in, and that swing is long. Was there a touch? Nope. Leahy just hit it a bit long, and we're tied at 9.
Yeah, it's a tough one because a beautiful pass from Harris on that one. She really does serve-receive well, but it's a smart shot, but just drifted like a hair long.
So here's Bush again to Harris. The set will come from Pixler this time, and Hall rips through it to Bush. And Ebo is able to cash in that one, hits it off the Oklahoma block.
And an interesting choice on the set there to go back set to the right side, but Ebo's had a couple of kills so far today where she's just overpowering that OU block, which we've seen today is a very hard thing to do, and able to get hands and ram that ball in.
Ebo is a junior college transfer from Barton County Community College in Kansas, and there's back into the mix. Beaker immediately blocks Shelton.
That's going to be Beaker's third block of the day so far. So the middles for both sides are putting in work on the block and in the offense.
4 blocks for the Gamecocks, 5.5 for the Sooners. It's not a kills fest.
No.
There's Shelton right back to her. And she says, fool me once, shame on me.
Well, if there's someone on the Oklahoma side that you want to make it a kills fest with, it is Alexa Shelton. And I mean, not much you can do there. One blocker, really. Beaker not over to get in time, and I mean, nothing you can do on that one.
KJ Burgess, the serve. Tough, tight set there. Beaker couldn't get it across, and Hall says enough of this. So Aaron Mansfield is contesting with Bill Stanley, the down referee. Did Hall come over the net and attack that ball on Oklahoma's side?
And there's certainly a case for one of Beaker or Hall to be over the net. I would need to see a replay of a little off center we are here, but I mean, certainly is a case for it. But I mean, it's a good job by Beaker recycling that ball, getting it up again, and then Hall takes care of the rest.
So hard when you're Beaker and Hall to not reach over. You know, that ball's just hanging up there, but they were clean. There's a service error, and now 12-11 South Carolina.
And you have to give the hitters some leeway on that. I mean, you're not going to call that one strict to the book, especially on a point like that. But once again, South Carolina gets a little momentum, and then a pretty crucial service error. Sides out for Oklahoma.
So here's Harper Hall, the UCSB transfer. Solid serve toward Johnson. Hall tips it across, and Fraga there for the Sooners. Shelton tips it off the block, and out it goes. We are tied at 12, and Alexis Shelton, well, she's made a difference all match long.
Yeah, well, last time she had a set like that, she went hard down the line. This time, finds hands, goes a little off speed. The set, timing not great on the set, but I mean, when you have her on the outside, it doesn't really matter where the set is.
She's almost more dangerous when she has to improvise.
True.
Big block by Patterson in the middle for the Sooners.
Called her name a lot in the first set. Has not had a kill or a block in this second set so far, but her second block of the match so far. I mean, these two middles for OU are doing work so far.
3 straight Sooner points. They've taken a 1-point lead. Oklahoma won the opening set 25-23. Beaker is blocked by Shelton, and she's got that look.
South Carolina saved the slide until we were in the 20s in the first set, was able to convert on it. This time, Shelton reads it perfectly and gets the solo block.
And when you say she can take over a set, it's not just by swinging. She can play defense, too. Timeout, South Carolina. Well, Oklahoma in the middle of a 4-point run. Alexis Shelton blocking and killing as she has done. She's got a chance to be number 8 by the end of the night. If she continues this pace, she already has 9 this evening.
Yeah, 9 kills on 15 swings, added 3 digs and 2 blocks as well. I mean, a truly good all-around player, but when you get into a tough spot where you feel like you need a point, you know where that ball's going out to number 12.
And other teams know it as well, and yet time and time again she comes through.
It does not matter.
This one overpassed to Patterson. Hall back to Patterson, and Beaker blocks her right back. Middle on middle right there.
And Beaker's 4th of the match already, 2nd in this 2nd set. And I mean, this is just a one-on-one swing that Beaker just houses. I mean, that is the nice thing having a middle like that is your outsides can go cover the outside, and you can more or less trust her one-on-one with the other team's middle.
Yeah.
You like your side on that battle.
14-13, big side out that Beaker got for the Gamecocks there, and the serve to Hall. Targeting Bush. Here's Shelton. Off the block. Down it goes. Double-digit kills for Alexis Shelton already.
Yeah, and South Carolina's been targeting Bush a lot in serve receive, as a lot of teams do, and had a tough start to the match, but it's really settled in the 2nd set. Gets the ball in system there, and a nice swing yet again from Alexis Shelton.
And now she will swing back on the service line. A little bit long. Well, she's not perfect.
No, and continues the trend of service errors in this match for both sides. I mean, I believe that'll be 8 for Oklahoma and 7 on the South Carolina side. So both teams clearly trying to put in some service pressure and just missing so far today.
Here's Harris. Finds Bush with that serve. Oklahoma in system. Gibson, what a dig there by Harris. And the swing from Marshall. Frega there for the Sooners. Here comes Shelton soaring. Oh, great save by Harris. Hall the set. Patterson leaped late and still got it down. Patterson, she was almost back on the ground when she made contact.
Yeah, I mean, the Sooners won the point, but give a lot of credit to Victoria Harris on that one. 2 unbelievable digs and almost got that 3rd one up. Coach Noble's saying if dig, baby, dig applies to her libero the best.
Thompson in to serve it. That block, but down. Forceful swing by Leahy right through Burgess.
Yeah, not an easy player to swing right through, but once again, give Harris credit on that pass. A really nice serve from the Oklahoma side, able to handle it off platform and get the Gamecocks in system.
So here's Pixler. Coming off a career-high 23 assists against Georgia. Bush, cross-court she goes. Hasn't been a huge target for Oklahoma, but she is so steady and reliable when they go to her.
Yeah, just her 9th swing of the day, but give Harper Hall a lot of credit there. That is a tough set to be able to get that one all the way cross-court and up into the pocket of the swinger, right into that swing. And Bush has had a tough one, you know, 4 kills on 9 swings with 3 errors, just hitting 111, but I mean, it's everything else she does that makes her so valuable.
Johnson blocked by Burgess.
We haven't called Burgess's name a lot in this 2nd set, but her 4th block in these middles, I keep saying, but it keeps coming true. I mean, there are a lot of blocks in this one. That's 8.5 for Oklahoma already to 5 on the South Carolina side. This game is being won at the net right now.
And another Sooner block with Burgess. Well, we were just saying we haven't called her name very much in set number 2. That has changed quickly, necessitating a South Carolina timeout.
Yeah, and an adjustment that Oklahoma's made in this 2nd set is every time South Carolina's out of system, throwing the triple block at either Johnson or Hall, and it has worked so far, really shutting those 2 down in this 2nd set.
So interesting with Kelly Jo Burgess and leading the SEC in hitting percentage. 445 coming into tonight. And then tonight, hitting 600. She has the blocks. Every time you talk to Aaron Mansfield, he says, we need to get her involved more. We need to get her involved more. And it's a challenge at times when you have all the weapons that Oklahoma does. You go Shelton, you go Bush, You go Camille Gibson, who's been involved tonight, but when Burgess is super involved, Oklahoma goes on runs like they've been on so far.
And it's why you want to do it early in matches. You get your middles involved early in matches. You can't send the double blocks or the triple blocks at your outsides. And you have to be able to trust your middles to put down sets that are in system. A lot of teams struggle with that. You know, you give a good set to your middle, they awkward hit it, and now you're out of system coming back. But both of these middles for Oklahoma and Burgess all year has been that consistent force that if you're going to give her a good set in system one-on-one, she is going to terminate that ball.
10th in blocks per set in the SEC coming into the night as well. And just such a good performer, transferred from Utah. She's from Lehigh, Utah, just a junior, KJ Burgess.
And we'll see what South Carolina does coming out of this timeout. Their offense has really sputtered in this second set, hitting 0 in the second set. Both offenses not playing great. Oklahoma went from 414 in that first set down to 158 in the second set. So this has kind of been a grinded out set too. So which outsides are going to come through? Which offenses are going to wake up a little bit here?
Mega with the Sooner serve. And from the outside, that little swing play to Leahy, who slides over and buries it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to get your offense going, is get someone a swing that hasn't gotten a ton of them so far. Just Leahy's 6th of the match so far. Get a different look. You know, you're throwing a triple block at your outside, run the slide, and get Leahy a nice swing.
Oklahoma back to Bush. Johnson able to keep it going. And a big block by Takoa Barnes. Side out Sooners.
Yeah, Ebo tries to go with a little cut shot here, and Barnes is having none of it. I mean, I don't even know if she got any of that, if Ebo just hit it into the net, but certainly would have been there if it got over.
Hall down the line rips this one. And a much needed side out for the Gamecocks. Hall hasn't had a big night yet. That's 5 kills.
No, but has had to take the lion's share of swings since her 13th of the match so far.
South Carolina needs a service run. Try to get back into this set. Maybe it will come from Leahy. Bush handles it cleanly. Burgess, so fast, you almost can't see. You blink and it's down.
I mean, but what a luxury it is to have an outside that can pass like that. I mean, that one was all Bush being able to get the ball in system. They were picking on her earlier, but the serve receive is really tightened up, and a 3 pass there gives the setter all the options she needs, and, well, usually going to go middle in that case.
Whitney Wallace will now serve, sophomore from Los Gatos, California. Hall takes it in, and Hall tips it over the block, and down it goes. Just kind of waited on Shelton and Patterson to clear, and then dumped it right over them.
Yeah, the first off speed we've seen from Hall in this one is waiting to go. Gone power, 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 power. Now in a point that you need, the block got there in time, and now you just go off speed, find that little soft spot, and a really smart shot.
21-18 Oklahoma. The Sooners won the first set 25-23. This serve from Sarah Jordan. Shelton off the block. Down it goes again.
Yeah, Shelton was the one that passed that ball initially, able to go down and get it, and then have the athleticism to get all the way back out to the outside and get that shot down the line off the top of the block. I mean, that is just Class A athleticism there.
11 kills. Hitting .444 is Alexis Shelton. Here's Barnes. Drills that one. Johnson handles it very well, and Hall gets a swing, blocked by Gibson. Right back to Hall. Blocked again. Johnson is there. Hall a 3rd time. And getting a piece of it is Fraga. Sooners will get it across. Beaker. Bush digs it out. Here's Shelton. And Johnson is there for the Gamecocks. Hall, her 4th swing is into the net, and Oklahoma prevails. What a point.
Yeah, very feisty floor defense on both sides. Multiple block touches on either side, too. But OU is they're just narrowing into Hall on all these out-of-system balls. I mean, what a dig from Bush on the back line on that Beaker swing, but then out of system, back to Hall again, and that triple block has done wonders for the Sooners so far in this second set.
With Johnson, 2 great receives on that serve by Barnes. Frege got it, but another one that's pumped down on that right side by Elise Marshall. And let's hope everybody's okay. Shelton and Bush able to smile about it.
I mean,
that's good.
What a swing on the outside. That was not a great set. I believe it was Beaker actually hung in the air and still able to laser that one down the line. I mean, just the hang time on that swing from your middle on the slide is, you don't see that quite a lot.
4 kills and 4 blocks for Beaker. Hall puts it in the air, and Oklahoma has a set point on that error.
Timely service errors, or the lack of timely service errors for South Carolina has hurt them so far. Put a lot of service pressure on in that first set. Do not have an ace in the second set. Had 3 in the first set, while the errors continue to rack up here for South Carolina.
Oklahoma with set point. First of 5 if they would need them. Just dropped in there by Justice. And that one is long. Oklahoma leads 2 sets to none as Beaker could not keep it in the back row.
Well, South Carolina got what they wanted, got a good pass on it, had all the options they need, went to the hot hand, and Beaker just missed long. But a really strong set from the Sooners in that one.
They lead it 2 sets to none and will try to close it out in 3 when we return to McCaslin Fieldhouse on SEC Network. Are flashing, the DJ is bumping, and it's a blocks party for the Oklahoma Sooners so far. 11 of them through the first 2 sets, Dave.
Yeah, we did 4 in the first set, 6 in the second set, and well, 5 in the first set, 6 in the second set, and it has been. They've been the more physical team at the net. They've done a great job reading the South Carolina offense, particularly out of system. And I mean, it's been the middles. I mean, Imani Bush has 5, Burgess has 5. Patterson with 3, Shelton with 2. It's been spreading the wealth, but I've been really impressed. Burgess, a couple one-on-ones, and I mean, this OU block is as good as advertised.
See the season high. That was in a 5-set match. Tonight, in only 2 sets, they've got 11 blocks. And that set, neither team was as crisp offensively. How did Oklahoma pull that one out, and quite comfortably by 6 points, as it turned out?
I mean, limiting the service errors relatively, and then it was the block. And you get 6 points off of blocks, that goes a long way in a set. And limited just to 3 service errors after 5 in that first set.
Opening serve, set 3 to Avea Mega and the Sooners. And that one punched out of bounds. So back to the middle go the Gamecocks, and Ava Leahy is having a good night.
Yeah, it's been what's working so far for South Carolina. Obviously, Beaker the main one with 4 kills on 9 swings, but Leahy, her 3rd kill of the night, gets her hitting percentage up over 300 for the day.
And there's Beaker back in, and Leahy goes back to serve it. Barnes hits a cannonball down the line.
Imani Bush again in the back row is the one on the serve receive there. You're not looking for a 3 pass from her every single time. 3 referring to the amount of options that the setter has when you pass the ball. Probably a 2 pass there, but gets it up and gets, Oklahoma's sort of in system, and that's all you really can ask for from your outsides in the back row.
Bush with a service ace after the great service receive to get Oklahoma the side out.
I mean, the mark of a good player is what are you going to do when you're not hitting the ball well? And Bush has had a really tough time on the offensive side, just hitting about 100 with 4 kills but 3 errors. But she's passed well, she's blocking well. You could tell she's digging the ball well, and she's serving the ball well as well.
Ebo, and a great job to dig that one out by Frege. It sets the stage for KJ Burgess again, her 5th kill.
Yeah, Burgess able to turn on that one and send it down on the second ball after a nice dig. Just realizes there's nobody in that back corner, and I don't even know if she has eyes in the back of her head or what, but able to find the perfect spot.
Mid-shot pivot, really tight set this time. Beaker had to climb the ladder, and Burgess gets it over. Right back to Beaker. Burgess got a touch on it, and the Sooners were in the set, or in the net.
Yeah, give Shelton a lot of credit on that one, though. I believe she was the one that was able to get that up for RU. No, it's the setter and then Shelton. I mean, what an athletic play to even keep that point alive, but ends up being in the net.
Yeah, Mago was able to slide over there and dig it out. And an ace. Sarah Jordan strikes for South Carolina. 3 apiece.
I mean, what a pretty serve. Just drops in right in front of the libero for OU. That's when it looks like it's coming for your head almost, and then at the last second, dips right down.
Jordan ran a 5-1 for South Carolina last year, but she was a little bit beat up injury-wise in the preseason and non-conference play. So they had Kaya Pixley, who came in, and then they just decided 6-2 is going to work. And, of course, Sarah Rumley-Noble, being a former setter herself, is pretty amenable to a 2-setter system, and it can work and has worked.
It can work, but she also did say, as a former setter, you don't like it when your team runs a 6-2, but when you have 2 capable setters and you have the hitters that can pass the way that South Carolina does, it is what's best for this team.
Service error there by Nia Hall, right back to Oklahoma, as these teams go back and forth. 5-4, Oklahoma now in set number 3.
And one of the main differences in that second set for South Carolina, same amount of service errors at 4, which is quite a bit, but 3 service aces in that first set, none in the second set. So already getting 1 in this third set is a nice sign for the Gamecocks, but they really need to limit those errors. 2 errors in the first 5 points for Oklahoma.
And there's Nicole Barnes giving it right back. 5 apiece now. Can either team find a little footing back there on that service line?
And already 4 in the first 10 points of this set. So that's not what you want to see from either side if you're either coaching staff.
Time to stabilize it. Maybe Victoria Harris is the right person for the job. And how about that? An ace. It's either an ace or an error, both ways so far.
I mean, it's hard to believe that Victoria Harris is a sophomore the way she plays. I mean, she is the steady force. She's the heartbeat of this South Carolina team. Obviously, digging balls, puts a lot of pressure behind the service line and in serve receive as well.
3rd in total digs in the SEC coming into the night was Harris. Sooners set Patterson, and she comes through once again. These 2 middles for Oklahoma having good nights.
Yeah, Patterson's 5th kill to go with 5 kills for Burgess too. I mean, they're both hitting well over 500, 571 for Patterson and 714 for Burgess.
And 8 blocks between them. There's the error for Oklahoma.
And the 3rd one of the set. You can't give away points if you're either of these teams. I mean, luckily for both of them, the other team is doing the same thing. But, I mean, you just got to get the ball in play. Make the other team pass.
We'll see if Pixlr can do so. Shelton handles it cleanly. Gibson is blocked by Johnson for South Carolina.
And we've seen Johnson do quite a bit for South Carolina today. The first time we've seen her in the block, her first of the match so far, but she does everything for the South Carolina team. Plays 6 rotations, passes, serves, blocks, does everything.
Rega handles it this time. Tight set. Made it really difficult for Bush, and blocked by Ebo to win the point. 9-6 Gamecocks. They've won 3 straight.
Not much you could do if you're Bush on that one. That's way too tight to the net. I mean, still able to get a little touch with the offhand, and Ebo was having none of it.
Pixlr with another, and an ace as Shelton can't handle it. And the Gamecocks have gained control of set number 3.
2 aces for South Carolina, and OU's going to take a timeout here. But, man, that service pressure has taken a tick up for South Carolina.
So Aaron Mansfield and the Sooners take a timeout, up 2 sets to none, but trailing by 4 in set 3. A 4-0 scoring run for South Carolina. Gamecocks trying to keep this one alive after Oklahoma has taken the opening 2 sets. Welcome back to McCaslin Fieldhouse. Party atmosphere on a Friday night. Bush drills one right at Harris, and somehow the Gamecocks get it over, but no, they don't. There was a double touch right at the net to get it back, but what a play by Harris.
Yeah, not a lot of people want to see swing right at them from Amani Bush, but Harris takes it, able to get the ball up, but I mean, an unfortunate double from South Carolina.
Johnson has to reach back. Easy pickings there for Burgess, who goes up high to block it.
It's an implementation of that new rule that the NCAA put in last year, that no doubles on balls that don't go over, but one that does go over can be called as a double, and that's what happened on the previous point.
Johnson with a tight set this time, and a block again by Burgess, who got in front of Ebo.
I mean, that's just your middle making a play one-on-one. Nothing South Carolina did wrong, made the right read, but Burgess has been everywhere in the middle.
5 kills and 6 blocks for KJ Burgess tonight. 10-9 score. Gamecocks have a little moisture on the floor here.
Yeah, how often do you get to say that a middle's on double-double watch? But Burgess certainly is.
So the Sooners have won 3 straight after the timeout. And Sydney Thompson ready to go. Sydney Thompson, such an important part of this Oklahoma program. Senior, she's played a little as a DS and libero, but mainly a service specialist. A little overpass there, and Johnson's able to take care of it, though she did miss-hit it a little bit.
Yeah, you can see her smile a little bit after that point. She missed hit a little bit, but still able to get down. And yeah, Oklahoma also using a new rule that was implemented last year, able to have 2 libero shirts. So now bringing her in as a service sub does not count as a substitution, which is particularly important when you're subbing your setters in and out in a 6-2.
Overpass and slammed home by Hall.
Been really impressed by the service pressure from South Carolina in this set. Obviously the 3 aces, but even serves that are not going to be aces is putting Oklahoma out of system quite a bit, and a couple overpasses from this set from the Sooners.
Handled cleanly by Fraga this time. Gibson strikes, and Pixler's able to handle it. This set comes for Hall. Off the block, out it goes, and the Gamecocks have surged in front by 4 points.
And that was another one that just show me your best, and it doesn't matter. The triple block came again for Oklahoma. They were ready for that set to go to Hall, but it doesn't matter. Does a good job finding the outermost blocker and trying to get it off of her hands.
Great job by Hall to chase that one down. Bush plays it over. Harris with this set for Hall. And down it goes again for Hall.
I mean, it's the one thing you can do against a triple block like that I mentioned earlier is that cut shot. If you're able to get it down, if that third blocker is a little bit late, which Bush was, to just be able to cut that ball down. There's not a lot of people covering that space on the opposite side. Just the libero that time and not able to contain it.
But the Sooners go right back to Burgess, and she gets them a much-needed side out. Gamecocks had won 4 straight points.
I mean, all reliable for this Oklahoma offense. Get the ball in system, set Burgess, her 6th kill on 8 attempts, 750 hitting percentage from the middle.
Omega back to serve it. 10 aces on the year. She's had 9 matches of 20 or more assists, and an ace there. That one hit the floor. The 3rd service ace for the Sooners tonight.
Yeah, and the 2nd of this set. So ramping up the service pressure on both sides, and if it's going to come from anybody, it's going to come from Mega.
Aaron Mansfield said Omega is 17 going on 35, and she's going on back-to-back aces now to get Oklahoma back within 2 points.
I mean, it's not only rare to be able to run a 6-2 at this level, but to be able to run a 6-2 with 2 young setters as well, a freshman and a sophomore. I mean, they do look wise above their years.
Got to come in the spring and work with assistant coach Brian Thornton and coach these Oklahoma setters. Timeout now, South Carolina. So they had a lead of 5 points, but Oklahoma has tightened it up. And this is where that kind of young, inexperienced team needs to reset just a little bit and see if they can regain control.
And it's the simple things. Get the ball in system. Get one pass. That is what you should be saying in this huddle right now. And all it takes is one pass, side out here. Let's get back to behind the service line where we have our strength. Make it easy. Get the ball in system so that you have options. Avoid that triple block and just get a side out here. You just have to side out here.
Sooners going at the tempo they like, very fast as anybody in the SEC plays, especially when they get Burgess and Patterson involved there in the middle.
Yeah, and Coach Noble was talking about that when we spoke to her earlier this week. This is the fastest team that they've played so far. And it is an adjustment, and to be able to play that tempo is a real asset for this Oklahoma team just because of the amount of weapons that they have. So if you're able to play fast, it's easier to get them all involved. And all three of their main options, Burgess, Bush, and Shelton, are able to hit a variety of shots. We've seen Burgess not only able to go one-on-one with the power shot in the middle, but off speed as well. Obviously, Shelton has a million shots in her bag. And, I mean, Bush able to go back row, able to go front row, off speed, down the line, cut shot. And so be able to do all three of those things from three different players allows you to be able to play up tempo a little bit.
750 tonight.
I mean, that is not a bad list to be on right there. And you look at some of the names on that list. I mean, people that have been in this, you know, playing for a while and recognized as some of the top talent in college volleyball.
Hall punches it across. Burgess couldn't quite take care of it. Ebo was there. There's Shelton digging out that swing by Hall. Bush tips it right into the block by Ebo.
Yeah, just a little out of position from Bush, and the setter not putting that ball into a good spot for her to take a clean swing on it, and just either trying to recycle it or tip it over the block, and Ebo was having none of it.
You saw that double touch, but just as you said, the ball did not go back over. So Gamecocks able to keep that one in play. Boy, that was a really tough set right there. That one is in. Nope, they call it wide.
That was about as close as you can get, but I believe the right call from the line judge. No complaints on the OU side. No reason to pick up the challenge card on that.
So the Gamecocks have steadied things once again. They lead by 4 as Leahy hits another serve. Near ace, but Frege able to dig it out. And Takoa Barnes answers for the Sooners.
Yeah, Frege gets a good pass on what has been a really tough serve for the Sooners to be able to handle. Leahy has given them some troubles from behind the line, that little drop serve, and Frege able to get that one up, get the OU in system, and inside out there.
Frege was the Mountain West Freshman of the Year in 2023 at Fresno State. Burgess with the block, but not quite finished, and Hall couldn't run it down.
That's one of those unstoppable force meets impenetrable wall plays there. Hall goes for just a rip power shot down the line, and who does she run into but Alexa Shelton?
So here's Bush settling in on the service line for the Sooners. South Carolina up 2 and a service error. Gamecocks are trying to extend it. The Sooners are helping them from the service line.
Yeah, we were a little spoiled. It had been a while, but that brings it up to 4 service errors on the set for the Sooners so far. So got to clean that up if they're going to come back.
Sarah Jordan serving. Shelton just has to get this one over to Barnes, who plays it across. Hall tips over the block, and down it will go. Little disjointed both ways.
Yeah, I mean, a tough set for Hall to be able to corral, but to be able to go up with your left. I mean, South Carolina obviously in system on the free ball. You want that in the pocket so that Hall can take a full swing on it, but able to get a lefty little poke shot down the line, and it settles down.
This time Frege has to bump set it for Shelton, and she comes through again.
Yeah, give Frege a lot of credit. Oftentimes on that bump set, you're trying not to overpass it, but gets it right up on the net, and you just got to get it in the area for Shelton. She's going to make the right choice. Sees that Beaker's shading a little bit over to the outside, so says, all right, I'll just hit it off with your hand and send it down.
I like what you said. Just get it in the area for Shelton. Lefty serve from Justice. Ripped wide by Hall.
And Coach Noble wants in the net on that one, but not going to. That is a challengeable call, but not going to pick up the card. We haven't seen a challenge yet today.
We have not. Credit Andy Martin and Bill Stanley. They've gotten everything right so far.
And fixed a camera.
That is off the block and wide, so Beaker has the answer.
We've not called Beaker's name yet in this set. They've saved the slide for moments that South Carolina has needed a point. That time the block just a little slow to recognize it, and Beaker does a good job just tooling the block out.
So 19-16 Gamecocks. They've been able to hold Oklahoma at arm's length here in this set. Shelton and Bush nearly collide, and then the block by Beaker on Shelton.
And it's a great serve from Victoria Hill there. Able to put it right in the seam between Bush and Shelton. Not only does it make Shelton go down to pass the ball, but it kind of takes her out of the hitting rotation, got the set back, but not an easy swing there.
Shelton rips one, and Beaker's able to block it. Sooners go right back to Shelton. Tipped into the air this time by Jordan. Johnson to the back, and it's in.
Wow, what a little roll shot from Johnson there. We've seen a plethora of shots out of her tonight, and I mean, Alana Johnson after that first set really struggled hitting the ball, and now up to 7 kills on the day.
Veteran play by the senior Elena Johnson as Oklahoma takes a timeout. 5-point lead for South Carolina. It's the Gamecocks' largest lead in any set all night. Oklahoma won the first set 25-23. Sooners comfortably 25-19 in set number 2. South Carolina's had the better run of things here in the third set, trying to keep this match going.
Yeah, I think it starts from behind the service line. The service pressure has been much better in this third set. The block has gotten going already. One more block than they've had in either of the previous 2 sets. And all that, you know, brings you to a .263 hitting percentage as a team, which is better than the rest of either 2 sets for South Carolina.
Oklahoma hitting .261 overall. South Carolina hitting .155. Sooners 4 more kills than the Gamecocks. Big difference has been the blocks. Oklahoma 14 and South Carolina 9 overall.
Yeah, but in this third set, Oklahoma hitting .059. Down from .414 in that first set, dropped to .217 in the 7th set, and now under 100 in this third set. So give the South Carolina block a ton of credit. OU had been the more physical team all night. The block had been imposing their will. But in this third set, it's been South Carolina that has been the more physical team. They're winning the battles at the net. They're reading hitters better. Alexa Shelton was hitting around 400 through the first 2 sets. Now that has dropped below 350. Still having a great night, but they're reading the hitters a lot better in this third set is South Carolina.
It will be Victoria Hill back on the service line for the Gamecocks. South Carolina up 21-16 in the third. Bush, an overpass, and Patterson attacked it on the other side of the net. So point Gamecocks. That ball was just hovering over there, and Patterson said, too tempting.
Yeah, I believe that is going to be Patterson in the net. Just, I mean, great service pressure once again. A good serve, a bad pass from Bush, and a kill for South Carolina.
Oklahoma back to Shelton. Beaker gets the block. Dakoa Barnes on the other side hits it wide, and the Gamecocks are 2 points away. They have won 5 straight points and 7 of the last 9.
And they've done a great job just getting a block touch on the initial swing. That time it was from Shelton. You get a swing back and then force Oklahoma to do something different.
There's an ace and set point South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, Victoria Hill, been the benefactor of this 5-0 South Carolina scoring run here, and is really picking on Amani Bush in that back line for Oklahoma.
Targets Bush again. Mega able to set Shelton. Patterson kept that going. Back to Shelton. Rolls it to the back. Johnson, Oklahoma got a touch, but it's down. And the Gamecocks keep it alive. They win set number 3, 25-16.
I mean, what a job playing with some urgency in the third set. You dropped the first 2. You weren't playing your best volleyball. And then to come out in this one and end the set on a 7-0 scoring run, the block was working, the hitters were working, the serve was going, and we got another set.
Tennessee, now her first as a South Carolina Gamecock. Emily Beaker comfortable in the SEC and very much looking like it tonight.
I mean, she has been the best player on the court for South Carolina all day. Getting kills, has 2 on this slide, but the most impressive has been on the defensive side. It's taken some one-on-one swings from Alexis Shelton and sent them down. You know, playing that middle game well, some one-on-one blocks in the middle as well, and she's just been everywhere. The most consistent offensive option and the most consistent defender for South Carolina.
Kills are getting closer. Oklahoma only 3 more. Service aces, well, they've been a big deal. Errors Sooners have as well. Oklahoma got off to a really tough start on the service line in the third set. And Emily Beaker, Sarah Rumley Noble, said she's the emotional leader of this South Carolina team. So when she gets kills, they all get into it. It showed in that set. Takoa Barnes hits it long, and South Carolina gets the opening point of the fourth.
Yeah, Barnes has had a tough go of it so far. That's her, I believe, 6th error on 10 swings. But to her credit, not a lot you can do with that set. Just kind of trying to find hands and misses.
Here's the error back the other way. Yeah, we were talking with Aaron Mansfield about Takoa Barnes, just a freshman, so highly touted and talented. And he said, just make a point to celebrate the successes. Yeah. He said he spent a lot of time going over the good things, reinforcing those things in film. And an ace on the service line from Bush.
Yeah, Bush just got Harris a little bit too low on that serve. It kind of stayed up and kind of ate up Harris on the back line. So a great serve from Bush.
Bush to Johnson this time. Here's Hall swinging away, and off the block it goes out of bounds.
And once again, Johnson just puts a perfect pass on that ball. Gives the setter any option she could possibly want, and what that does is it also opens up Hall. We've seen her triple block basically since the first set, but when you're in system, you can't send a triple block at anybody, and just a mere double block that time, and she's able to get it through.
Served by Leahy this time. There's Shelton, and that's too good. 13 kills for Shelton.
Yeah, and there's that tempo that we like to talk about from the Sooners. You get a good pass on it, and you go quick to the outside before the block can even get there, and Shelton knows what to do with it.
Now Kelly Jo Burgess back on the service line for the Sooners. Ebo didn't hit that one cleanly. Barnes did, and hit it through the block. That's power.
That's what I like to see. Your freshman's having a tough time, but it's not going to dissuade you from setting her. Go to the outside, and I mean, that's a great sign from the Sooners.
KJ Burgess, another serve. Hall is blocked by Patterson, but down it comes. South Carolina gets the side out. You've talked about it several times tonight, but in particular, a couple of these outside hitters, and that's for Oklahoma, Bush, and then Johnson for South Carolina. They make service receive look so good and easy. It's not.
I mean, no, it's not. And it's specifically not when you're that tall. You have to get down, get in front of the ball, get your platform on the ball, and put a good pass. I mean, every team is looking for outsides that can pass, and both of these teams have multiple, and it just makes running that 6-2. You can't run a 6-2 if your outsides can't pass. But both of these teams have outsides that really can pass.
5-3 Oklahoma, and Barnes will serve. Pumps that one across, and it goes off Johnson. That is an ace with authority.
And I'm always a little nervous when there's a topspin server, you know, on either side, but man, has Barnes been good from behind the line tonight. I mean, it seems like every serve is either an ace or a tough one and gets South Carolina out of system.
Johnson handles this one perfectly. Beaker slides wide and drills it down the line.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting deja vu, because there was a point in that third set that the exact same thing happened. Topspin serve. Johnson able to put a perfect pass on it right into the slide. And I mean, Beaker mishits that one, but when you run the slide that well and you're able to get that wide and the set is right there, it doesn't really matter what you do with it as long as you keep it in.
I mean, that pass by Johnson, it's like somebody just gently lofted a serve over to her, and it was anything but. Yeah. That one's out of bounds off Gibson.
You like to say you couldn't have thrown it better than where Johnson put that ball.
Victoria Hill has been good back on the service line for the Gamecocks tonight. She settles in with that one, and Bush overpasses. Beaker off of Bush, and out it goes. We are tied at 6 in the fourth.
Yeah, Victoria Hill was the one that ignited that 7-0 run to close the third set for the Gamecocks, and in that service run targeted Bush almost every time.
And just as we say that, she serves it wide. Oklahoma retakes a 7-6 lead.
Well, you will take that if you are the Sooners. That is someone that has killed you all night. So a self-inflicted error to get you a side out.
Here's Alexis Shelton. Harris handles it cleanly. Shelton with the dig. And Oklahoma was in the net. I think Bush just kind of unknowingly backed into the net up there.
Yeah, an unfortunate one because it didn't really seem like there was any need. Obviously, there's never need to be in the net, but to even be close to the net on that swing.
So Harris back to serve at 7 apiece. Bush decides to take that one, touches it across. Harris flies in to take it. Johnson blocked by Bush. Bush just kind of snuck up there in the middle and put it down.
I mean, that is an amazing play from Bush. Coming from the other side, they were setting up the triple block, but because that set was so far off of the net, you see the first two blockers kind of drop out, and Bush just says, all right, well, I'll take care of it myself.
Sydney Thompson serves Harris. Johnson just has to bump this one across. He insists him. Gibson blocked. Timing was a little bit off, and Johnson was there for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, that set just took a little too long to get out there. But Johnson, give her some credit, able to stand strong on that block. And both teams right now siding out at a much higher percentage than they were in those second and third set. We're both over 60% in the first set, and both dropped to below 60% going into this fourth set. So both teams are siding out, putting an emphasis on that in this fourth.
Burgess puts emphasis on that kill. That is her 7th of the night to go with 8 blocks.
7 kills on 11 swings. I mean, you really cannot ask for more out of your middle. And it's been a variety of shots. Obviously, she's shown you the power. She can tool the block. And then she's had 2 or 3 kills off of that little push shot, too, where she's just kind of trying to find a space in the back row and get somebody to hit it out.
Well, timeout as Sarah Umley Noble is chatting up the down referee, Bill Stanley. They've gotten everything settled. Johnson blocked by Burgess. Right back it comes as Pixler sets. This time it's Bush off the block. Harris keeps it going, and Johnson just swept it wide, but there was an Oklahoma touch.
I believe we're going to have our first challenge of the match there.
Now Erin Mansfield saying no, she just took an angle and swept it wide. So I think we're going to have a challenge. So the ruling was an Oklahoma touch. We'll see if it gets overruled.
Yeah, and I believe they called it on Bush on the floor. And we'll see a look here. I don't even think it was particularly
Oklahoma
close.
is challenging that there was no touch.
May need a little more convincing angle than that one we just saw. So we'll see what else they have down there with the VR replay system. Once again, this is Bill Stanley, our down referee, having a look at it. First challenge of the night, as you said, David.
Yeah, it certainly looked from up here that Johnson just took a weird angle on the ball and was just trying to knock it down and went too far. But obviously officials have angles we don't have here, but I mean, you're typically looking, if any, I mean, it's hard to see from that angle, but you're trying to see if the direction of the ball changes at all. This is going to be a good one from the net cam. See if the direction of the ball changes at all here. And yeah, I mean,
but it still is inconclusive.
Right. I mean, that's always the rule, but I don't think that ball changes rotation at all, and I think this should be a successful challenge.
You do have to remember, the call was that Oklahoma touched it.
Right. So is there indisputable?
Exactly. I don't know that either of the views that we have seen. They're showing one here in the building at McCaslin Fieldhouse on the video board, and it looks a little more like there might have been a touch.
Yeah, it does. We're getting the down line here, and that looks like there's not a touch. So
now we get a conclusive one. Yeah, this is going to be overturned.
It should be.
We finally get the right one from the back.
Give a quick shout out to the video crew.
After review, the call's going to be reversed. No touch. Oklahoma wins the rally and will retain their challenge.
So there you go. Erin Mansfield stays at 2 challenges, and Oklahoma gets the call overturned. There's the look we saw right there. And you see her hand is still on it, and it is well wide of Imani Bush's right arm.
Yeah, and Johnson was just trying to get a block touch on that one and very clearly just missed.
So 10-8 Oklahoma. Johnson reaches back, and Frege able to play it for the Sooners. Barnes gets blocked, but Burgess takes care of it.
Yeah, and Burgess does a great job staying involved in the play. That's one that you're you're thinking that it's going to hit the block and recycle over to the South Carolina side, and you maybe take a little mental lapse, but as a middle to just stay involved, see that the ball's floating above the net, and just get a free kill of your own.
Harris sets Johnson this time. Shelton dives in to save that one on the back. Bush couldn't drop it home. Now Harris a bump set again for Johnson. Beautiful angle just inside the line. Johnson kills another.
And give the South Carolina coaching staff a lot of credit for the adjustment that they've made against this triple block. I mentioned it earlier, but when you have the triple block, you're not going to go with that line shot. All of their hitters just cutting the ball now, and like that vacant space on the other side being left by the Sooners because of that triple block.
Barnes. Harris punches it back across. And Burgess strikes again. Kelly Jo Burgess having a night, her 9th kill to go with 8 blocks.
Yeah, that one just an out-of-system ball that Burgess just, I mean, nothing you can do if you're South Carolina there. You're not going to read that on the block, and there's no way you're digging that ball.
Bush the serve for Harris. Really tight set this time. Shelton is there for Oklahoma. Shelton gets a swing, and it's blocked, but out of bounds it goes.
I believe that's the first time we've called Alexis Shelton's name in this 4th set. She's kind of gone quiet over the second half of that 3rd set and the start of this 4th one, but when the match gets down to this and you have a lead in a winner set that you win the match, you go to your best players, and I expect them to go to Alexis Shelton for the rest of this set.
Oklahoma leads in set number 4. They are up 2 sets to 1. Here's what's at stake for these two teams. Gamecocks looking for their first SEC win. After an 0-4 start to conference play, they played 3 top 25 teams right out of the chute. Oklahoma is right on the verge of the top 25. And for the Sooners, they've lost 4 in a row in this series. Now, the last win was 1996. South Carolina won in 4 sets last year in Columbia in Oklahoma's first season in the SEC. Hadn't played for a long time until last season when the Gamecocks took it. Amani Bush back to the service line out of the timeout. Hall takes a big rip at it, and Bush is there. Now Barnes. What a set that was from all the way on the other side by Avea Mega to find Barnes on the far side.
Yeah, you said it. Give Mega a ton of credit, and give her credit for going back to Barnes over and over again in this set. I mean, she has really swung well in this 4th set, just using her power, putting it in a position that nobody else can hit it.
Harris able to claim that one for South Carolina. Quick set in the middle, but Mega there for the Sooners. Barnes again down the line, and there was a touch out of bounds off the Gamecocks.
Yeah, finding hands over and over and over again. It's kind of like controlled chaos when Barnes swings. I mean, she gets so much power behind the ball, and that, I mean, if it gets a block touch, you're not recycling it. It's not going to pop back up in the air. So she just needs to, get better at finding hands, freshman, getting used to college volleyball, college blockers, and she's really found it in this 4th set.
But that arm has electricity flowing through it.
Certainly does.
Frege the set for Shelton. Just got on top of it and punched it home. It was like she rose even higher because she knew she needed to get on top of it.
I mean, you don't typically see someone get above the block when it's set up like that, and to be able to cut it down the line when she's angled towards the other side of the court, that is just an all-American swing from Shelton right there.
Hall, triple block, stuffed. Burgess in the middle of it, and the Sooners have seized control.
And that's where that triple block works, as South Carolina going to take a timeout here. When that set is close to the net, there's nothing Hall can do. She tries to cut it, but with the triple block there and that set so tight to the net, there is nowhere she can go.
9 kills and 9 blocks for Burgess. As you said, it's not often when a middle is approaching double-double territory, but that's the case for KJ Burgess tonight.
I mean, it almost seems unfair when you have the outsides that the Sooners do, than the way that they're able to hit the ball. That, hey, guess what? We have someone that hits over 400 on the year, is hitting 750 tonight. And, oh, guess what? She also leads us in blocks. I mean, it is such a luxury to get to have if you're Oklahoma.
That season high is also a career high for KJ Burgess with the 9 blocks tonight. And you factor in the 9 kills. Yeah, that's a night. Sooners have won 6 straight points and have taken an 8-point lead trying to close it out. They won the opening set 25-23, took set 2 25-19. The Gamecocks run ruled them in the third set. 25-16, just ran away with it. But Oklahoma has had the answer. They've had the response here. What's been key to Oklahoma here in pulling away in the fourth?
It's limiting the errors. They're not beating themselves. I mean, 2 attack errors on 16 swings, 0 service errors to 2 service aces. When South Carolina was able to get going in that fourth set, Oklahoma's hit negative, 7 of them being errors. So it really was the South Carolina block playing better, but it was a lot of hitting errors, not getting the ball in system. And now Oklahoma is the aggressor from behind the service line, which we said in the open was going to be the key to this one.
So where does South Carolina now go for the answer?
It's siding out. You got to side out quick. You are not siding out at a good enough clip in this fourth set. You were over 60% going into the set. Now you're sitting at 56%. So you got to get a big side out here coming out of the timeout.
Bush long with that serve, so they ice the server with the timeout. And South Carolina gets a had-to-have-it side out.
And Bush did not think that one was out. She turned to the down judge and asked, is that out?
Yes.
And they're going to challenge it, I believe.
Oklahoma won a challenge just a few moments ago. This is our second challenge of the night. South Carolina hasn't utilized one.
Well, this one
Oklahoma is challenging. The ball was in.
Yeah, this one should be quick challenge. Hopefully there's a shot right down that line. But this one was close. This one was very, very close.
Hawkeye should take care of this one.
Hawkeye should take care of this one.
Come on, Hawkeye.
Man, I am so happy. Oh, look at this angle we have in here right down the line.
Oh, you mean this one?
Yeah, this one.
That's long.
That's long.
And the Sooners in their huddle are looking up at the video
After
and
review,
they all just start laughing.
The call is confirmed. Oklahoma loses their challenge.
Now they're kind of giving Amani Bush the business saying, you thought that was in?
I've always thought that coaches should keep track of challenge percentage for players. When you ask for the ball, you should have someone with an iPad seeing what that percentage is. But man, it's nice to have that camera line. I remember a time before that angle, and you used to spend 10 minutes trying to figure out if a serve was in or out.
Exactly. The Hawkeye, it is second only to whatever it is they use in tennis. It's immediate. Good block up front by Beaker on Burgess. Shelton blocked, and there's Beaker coming alive again.
Yeah, just a force there to Shelton. I mean, kind of a line drive set, and the block was very clearly knew that that ball was going to Shelton there, and not a lot you can do as a setter.
Gamecocks need a run for back on the service line. Might it come from McElvey? Alexis Shelton drills that one, and another. Johnson gets a touch on it, though. Hall just has to bump it across. Fraga soars in to take it. Shelton finished it. Alexis Shelton again.
And 3 swings on that point for Shelton, but I mean, give Fraga a ton of credit on, even though it was a free ball, ran all the way from the back to dig it up so that OU could be in system on that one. And then you give Alexis Shelton 3 swings at it. One of them's probably going to be a kill.
The Terminator.
The Terminator.
Here's Whitney Wallace. He's come in a couple of times to serve for the Sooners. Targets Hall this time. Hall gets a swing, and Bush, it goes wide.
Yeah, I like that from South Carolina. Reward your outside for a good pass. I mean, Hall gave the setter a 3 pass, and then you go right back to her, and she terminates.
Oklahoma by 6. And Sarah Jordan will serve it. 2 years at Towson, had over 1,500 assists and 400 digs before transferring to South Carolina. And Patterson, she just poked that one through the block.
Yeah, the timing a little off on that one, but Patterson's able to adjust in air and just kind of poke it through, like you said. Obviously, Oklahoma wants to go tempo, but that set just came a little bit too quickly. But Patterson, we haven't called her name a ton since that first set, but still making an unbelievably big impact on this game.
The two Sooner middles have 15 kills between them, Burgess and Patterson.
And are both hitting well above 400.
Tacoa Barnes with the set for Shelton. How about that?
Get an assist in the book. Why not? That's got to be one of her first. Very few collegiate assists, you got to think.
Barnes has 3 blocks, 2 aces, 6 kills, and an assist, and a dig. Stuff in the stat sheet. And she's back on the service line. And an error.
Once again, with that top spin serve, you're going to accept a couple of errors. She has served so well tonight. Her second service error of the match, and that one just barely hits the twine.
Victoria Hills had some good runs on the service line, including that one to close out the third set. Gamecocks could use another one of those right here, trailing by 7.
Yeah, it seems like a gotta-have-it service run here for South Carolina.
That's the second time in a row she's been back there and served an error.
That's a tough one, and you're down 7 in a set. You have one of, if not your best servers behind the line, the one that's been giving OU all fits all day, and 2 straight errors.
Piper Justice, the Pepperdine transfer, originally out of Austin. She was at Pepperdine in 2024, but didn't play for the Waves. And an ace. Sooners now 3 points away from a win.
And 3 aces in the set for Oklahoma to 0 errors. It was something we emphasized through the first 3 sets. Whichever team could maximize aces, minimize errors, put that service pressure on.
Justice another. And a big Oklahoma block by Bush, but it's out of bounds. Nice swing over there on that right side by Marshall.
Yeah, give Marshall a ton of credit. Knew the block was going to be set up, and knew Bush was looking for, a little house call there, but just able to tool that outside hand and drop it down out.
So now Harris back to serve it for the Gamecocks. In system, Shelton. And Long, no touch, point Gamecocks.
I am shocked that Shelton was able to get that swing off from still being behind the 10-foot line on that.
And everybody in the building is shocked that there wasn't a touch.
Yeah. Awkward swing, though, you don't typically see, and I think they got that one right.
Bush goes up to tip it, played by Jordan. And now Harris with the set for Johnson. And that is Long. There was no touch.
They're going to challenge, I believe.
Yeah, for 2 reasons. They have 2 available.
Yep.
It can help stop momentum, and it might get overturned.
It's a pseudo timeout, even if it is.
South Carolina is challenging. There was a block touch.
Couldn't see from up here, but usually when all 6 players on the court turn to the coach and ask for a touch, you usually see those overturned, but we'll see.
Original call was no touch. South Carolina believes the Sooner touched it on the way out of bounds.
Obviously a big swing in this one, and one you challenge anyway as we get the looks here. This one, you're looking at the finger of the middle there. That is Patterson. If anybody, I think it went off of that, maybe that left middle finger on that one, but I can't really tell from up there. This will be a good one to see if it moves. Yep, there it is, that left middle finger.
Well, it's a good thing that Andy Martin got the net camera readjusted.
Seriously.
That's right on the line. And yeah, that's a touch.
After review, the call is going to be reversed. South Carolina wins the rally and will retain their challenge.
So a good challenge there for Sarah Rumley-Noble. Still has 2 challenges at her disposal. But Oklahoma is still 2 points away from taking the match. Bush handles it cleanly. And Gibson drills this one. Goodness.
Yeah, South Carolina is taking a little bit off of their serve in this set. And that one was an easy pass for Bush to get it right up to their setter, an in-system swing, and a beautifully run offense from the Sooners.
2 points away now, the Sooners. Sydney Thompson, though, the error on her serve. Back to South Carolina. South Carolina's got to have a run. They can't just go side out for side out. Oklahoma would close it out. And we will see if Kaya Pixler can get something going.
Yeah, Pixler had a nice little run in that third set. We'll see what she can do. Unfortunately, South Carolina passed their best two setters. It's going to have to be the back of that rotation.
Bush blocked, and it was Ebo.
Yeah, that set just way too tight to the net. Once again, Bush has to go with the offhand, and that's going to be an easy one for Ebo.
So now Aaron Mansfield and the Sooners will call timeout. Oklahoma trying to close this thing out. They have had control here of this fourth set.
Yeah.
Sooners are going to welcome Georgia to McCaslin Fieldhouse coming up on Sunday. South Carolina just faced Georgia over the weekend, and the Bulldogs won that one in 4 sets.
Yeah, well, we're well into conference play here, and for Oklahoma, you look past that Georgia game and the gauntlet that they have after that. At Texas A&M, at Texas, at Florida, all top 25 teams. You know, their first real, true road test in a row coming up there, but 2 home matches to try to get some momentum before you head out on what is probably the toughest stretch you can have in the SEC.
Texas, Kentucky, the 2 lone unbeatens remaining in SEC play. And here's what the Gamecocks have left. They'll be driving on over to Fayetteville to take on the Razorbacks on Sunday. Back home to Columbia for Mississippi State and Alabama. And still looking for that first conference win.
Yeah, I bet they're going to be happy to get home after this little 2-game road trip. But, I mean, it's kind of nice to face the fire early, especially with the new staff. It either can build you up as a program or it can ruin your year. But for this South Carolina team, you can see the resilience in this group. And I think a lot of that has to do with facing the fire early on. You have to go play all of these top 10, top 25 teams early in the year with a new group.
That's a football back on the service line. And it gives Oklahoma a match point. When's the last time you saw one of those calls?
It has been a really long time. It might have been a high school game that I watched. It's certainly not in college volleyball in quite some time. But timely serving errors for South Carolina again and again, that's got to be something they clean up.
Match points for Oklahoma on the serve of Avea Mega. Johnson tips it over the block, and the Gamecocks are still alive.
And Johnson has gone to that off speed time and time again in these third and fourth sets. Was going power heavy early, but just using all the tools in her toolkits, touring the block, going off speed, ripping down the line. She is just a really good all-around hitter.
Still match point Oklahoma. Bush cleanly set by Mega. Burgess drills it, but it's dug out. This one tipped back to the middle. And now Barnes. That is good as Oklahoma gets a touch on the swing. Johnson touched it, Barnes killed it, and Oklahoma wins it in 4.
I mean, what a job by Barnes in that fourth set. If you remember, Barnes was hitting -200 going into that fourth set, worked her way back into the positives, and ends the match hitting positive. What a job overall by this Oklahoma offense today.
She winds up with 7 kills, including the game ender as it goes off of Johnson. And Oklahoma improves to 4-1 in the SEC for Aaron Mansfield. They are 12-3 overall. They will be hosting Georgia coming up on Sunday. South Carolina falls to 6-9, 0-5 in the SEC. And they'll be at Arkansas coming up on Sunday afternoon. What a night it was for the Oklahoma middle blockers. KJ Burgess had 9 kills and 9 blocks. Kennedy Patterson had 6 kills and 3 blocks. So that's 15 kills and a dozen blocks between your 2 middle blockers, David. You'll take that.
Yeah, especially when you have the outsides that Oklahoma does. It just opens everything up when you're able to get them involved, both offensively and defensively.
We're going to talk with KJ Burgess when we come back to McCaslin Fieldhouse as Oklahoma wins it in 4 tonight.